sun. Hang on here. Look at this. Look at this. Hang tight. Let's see if I can rearrange here a little bit. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you guys. I'm not complaining about the sun. I love the sun. I am solar powered. But this time of year, it's just starting to get, yeah. We had thunderstorms all day today. So how interesting that just now the sun is beginning to go funky. Well, hello, everybody. It's good to see you guys. Welcome to SoulPet. My name is Elaine, and I'm the host of our SoulPet show, an animal Reiki master and animal chaplain. And SoulPet is the channel that is devoted to helping people heal after the loss of an animal companion, heal after our animal companions have crossed to the other side, and get a deeper understanding of what it means once our animal companions have crossed to the other side and how that relationship still continues. And we're kind of adding some things into that so that we can become better better stewards and better animal companions with the animals who are currently part of our life. All right, so hang on a quick second. Got to take a drink. We've got some good stuff tonight. We're normally on Monday nights. This one happens to be a Tuesday. Life just happens every once in a while. I was traveling this weekend. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. But so I put it out there to post your questions. Ask me anything, and maybe we'll do this once a month. I'm really liking this. You guys have posted some good questions. We've got some really deep stuff to talk about tonight. But on this channel, SoulPet, we have a beautiful community. If you are new to the channel, whether you're watching this live or 10 years from now, we've got a beautiful community of people who are here to support each other and here to support you. We offer virtual hugs every Monday night. This week it happens to be Tuesday. And where was I going with that? Besides the beautiful community, we offer not only some very practical, real ways to help us put back the pieces of our heart, but also we talk about some deeply metaphysical things. And tonight you guys have asked some interesting questions, some questions about soul contracts, about reincarnation. I wrote them all down, about the reasons why our animals companions crossed the way they did. I've got them all. So we've got some good questions to cover tonight. I also have some topics that I want to cover with you, but we will start by saying hello to everybody. So let's see who all we've got on tonight. Pat, as always, great to see you. You kicked off all the questions. I appreciate that. We're going to come back to all of those questions. And who else have I got? Kali, great to see you. You had some good questions also. I think I saw Sherry on here. There she is. Sherry, good to see you as well. Sharon, hello, good to see you. Cheryl, Ms. Nunya, New York Business. And Donna, great to see everybody. So we'll see who else jumps on tonight. We've got some others watching. I can't see who you are, but I see that you're watching. So a couple things that I want to talk about. First, let's talk about the reason why we did Tuesday instead of Monday. I try to do this every Monday. I might have to, going forward, pick Monday holidays as not a day to do it. So last week was Memorial Day. This particular Monday, I was traveling this weekend. I traveled to be with a family member, an aging parent, and it's very challenging for any of you who've been through this. It's very difficult to watch your parent age. And I'm going to talk about this fairly openly. Kathy, it's good to see you, Kathy R. I'm going to talk about it openly here, and I thought I saw Robbie on here somewhere. Because most of my family members don't follow the channel, which is, it's normal. It's 100% normal. When you start doing this kind of thing, don't expect that your family's going to be, it's not, they're not behind me. They're all behind me, but they just aren't, they're not the raving fans. Which is totally cool. It's totally fine. So I will talk openly pretty much about this without using any names. But one of my parents is aging and has chosen to age. And I think a lot of the things that this comes down to are a fear of crossing to the other side. And it's something that's ingrained in our older generations in particular because of the way that our religious traditions built into us this fear of going to hell. And as much as I say to her, there's no one that you know, there is no one in our family, and there's no one that you know that has ever done anything that would cause them to be damned by a God who sits on a cloud with an old man in a white beard throwing lightning bolts down, damning his children to a life of eternal flames. It just is not going to happen. But anyway, that was my a little aside about my thoughts about death, because as you know, it's not something that I fear any longer. And I think that we can let go of those fears. But working and and taking care of a parent who is aging can be challenging sometimes. And that's where I was this weekend. So this weekend, I thought I might be able to do some live streams. I thought I might be able to do some cute little videos. It was a constant level of care. And then yesterday, what I really wanted to do is go to Serpent Mound in Ohio, but I had to honor Gypsy. Gypsy was with me, so we drove, and my goal is to help Gypsy, my blind dog, is to help reacclimate her, help her to overcome her or to normalize, to help her through her PTSD, which was a result of not only the injury to her eyes, which was now 5 years ago, the injury to her eyes, but the rescue situation and how she ended up getting to me and the traveling. It caused some trauma in her. So we're still working through that. Yesterday, what I wanted to do was drive through, and Pat, I think you even asked me this question, will I document my future travel journeys? Yes, I will, and I would have this weekend even. But the travel was a little too much, and she was very stressed, and I honor those things. So when I could sense from Gypsy, from her behaviors, from her panting, from her, I bought a minivan so she would have more space. I honor that, and I drove her right home yesterday. I just came straight home and let her be. And she was so happy to be home, so happy to be home. But future journeys, I'm going to try to work this out. So even if Gypsy can't be with me, then I will travel and show you guys some of the, I want to travel to ancient archaeological sites, and I want to start here in North America and then work my way south. So I will be documenting that stuff as we go forward. So let's check those two off my list. My beautiful aging parent and my beautiful Gypsy. I also want to tell you some stories about two other animals, two dogs. One, I'm going to use pseudonyms since I don't have their, I just haven't, not that I wouldn't, but haven't received their human parents' permission to talk about this. So I would tell you about Elvis and Harry. That's who I'm going to call these two doggies, Elvis and Harry. And also some housekeeping stuff. First Fridays, coming up real fast. Like these months are flying by, and I want to commit to something that I'm calling First Fridays for all channel members. I try to do a monthly Zoom. May got away from me, but First Fridays, we'll do it this coming Friday. I'll post all the information. First Fridays, we will get together, and as a membership group, we will practice mediumship. We'll see what kinds of connections we can make with our beautiful animal companions. And let's see what else. Oh my gosh, one of you brought up, and I think it was Kali. Do I see Kali? Yes, Kali. I watched my mom battle brain cancer and held her hand when she crossed. I pray that I am honored to be present when my mom transitions to the other side. I was not permitted to be present during COVID for my father, but that in the end that was okay because I talk to Dad all the time and he comes through all the time. But I pray that I'm honored enough to be by her side when she crosses. But it's challenging, right? It's just difficult to watch a parent's cognitive ability decline, and so I just want to be there. I just want to be there for her. I want to be there for her and be her support person. I was scared until you opened my eyes to the other side, Pat. I love that, and you guys to ask some really important questions. When I put the post out yesterday, when I knew that I was just not going to be able to swing the live stream. I just put it out there to ask me anything, and you guys come up with the best questions. And Pat, I'm so glad and it's not just me. I hope that everybody can get some level of shift in the way that we talk about death and dying. That fear of crossing to the other side, that fear that there is no other side, that fear that we've been lied to all along, or that fear that we're all going to hell, or that fear that we're already living in hell, or all of the things that go through our mind. I love that my beautiful animal companions and your beautiful animal companions have shown me the way, have really opened my eyes to what it's like on the other side. Okay, so I'm going to keep reading a couple comments. We said hello to everybody. Dana, good to see you. Dana, you had some good questions to ask as well. Advanced dementia, that's it. My the cognitive decline, and it's dementia, and it's steadily progressing, and just to be there as a support person. Lost the ability to speak. That's where we are right now. That's where we are. And the challenging thing is that it's a form of dementia. If anybody's familiar with Bruce Willis at all, who has the same diagnosis, the form of dementia there really isn't as much cognitive decline as there is the ability to translate what's going on in your mind to come out as communication. So the ability to communicate is almost gone. And so that's kind of where we are. It makes it even harder for the person who becomes frustrated, not being able to take their thoughts and translate them into communication that we're used to receiving. If I will not be able to attend because of my Zoom app, will we have recordings, please? I don't want to lose anything. We'll come back to that, Dana, in a second. Kali. Yes, right. And for Kali, going back to comments, 61 is so young. Oh my gosh, that's younger than I am right now. So that becomes even more of a challenge. My aging parent happens to be in her 80s, so I feel some degree of comfort in that, but I can only imagine at that young age. And you weren't able to be with. So Dana, right, I was not able to be with my father. And also because you were so young. So very true. And that's the other thing. You guys are so supportive. It does my heart good to see how much we support each other in this group. So I'm just going, all right, I'm going to let you guys keep chatting about that. And there was one other question that I had going on. Oh, about the Zoom. So some of you have signed up for the Animal Reiki and Communication class that starts tomorrow. And that is also recorded on Friday. If you cannot attend, like Dana, I know you're probably in a time zone that's not going to translate well. Yes, it will be recorded. And if there's any questions for the first Friday Zoom, so like we're going to do it at like a little mediumship circle. If there's any questions that you have that I can't, that you're not able to attend, you let me know. Let me know ahead of time, and I'll address them for you, and make sure that your questions get answered. All right, so let's talk about. I'm warm now. I might have to turn on a fan. Let's talk about. Oh my gosh. Somebody, who was it? I don't know. Put it in the comments. Who asked the question about Suzanne Giesemann? Suzanne Giesemann and the Mayim Bialik interview. I can't wait to share with you. My mom was 86, but just sees me as the person who lives across the street, not her daughter. And that would be even harder. My mom still recognizes all of us very well. So I have not had to go through that type of illness. But I mean, it's very challenging for her not to be able to communicate, not to be able to vocalize, not to be able to speak. And then the words get mixed up also. So the words that come out are not the words that she's thinking. So it makes it very difficult. But okay, moving on to a new topic. So Suzanne Giesemann and Mayim Bialik. Let me tell you about the 2 interviews with them. And we got more sun coming through here. Maybe it'll shift in a couple of minutes. I was watching this interview and I don't see Jody on tonight, but okay, so Kali, it was you with the interview with Suzanne Giesemann. Suzanne Giesemann is an evidentiary medium. And when I first started to understand that I had this connection with animals on the other side, she was the first person that the universe placed in front of me that resonated with me. She was consciously aware. She did not close her eyes and go into a deep trance, and she was a conscious medium. She showed me through her techniques how to be able to connect with the energetic presence, with the spirit, the soul of someone who has crossed, a person. This was people, but it works the same for animals, who had crossed to the other side. And Suzanne, although she does not necessarily work with animals, she has tried, and it's that we all have different things. Like some of us are better at one thing than another. For me, it's a connection with animals. For her, it's a connection with people. But it was through her methodology that I learned how to make my connection with animals on the other side, and how I always ask for that little piece of evidence that validates that the animal coming through is really your animal companion, that I'm not just saying, oh, they loved a good burger because all dogs love burgers. I get something specific that relates to your animal companion. So it was through Suzanne Giesemann that I began to practice this. And so she has an interview with Mayim Bialik. I've seen lots of her interviews, plenty of her. I mean, over the years, I've read the books and watched her interviews and followed her YouTube channel and all of her blogs and everything, her website. But I picked up this video last week and I was like, oh, a new video with Suzanne Giesemann. And I started watching it and looked all new to me. It turned out it was 3 months old and I'd seen it 3 times. This was like the 3rd time or the 4th time that it had popped up into my feed on YouTube. But every single time I watch it, something new comes through. And that's what I can't wait to share with you guys. Wait till I tell you about the nuns. Something new comes through. So Jody, who I don't see on this evening, said, wait, I think that video you're talking about is like months old. There's a new one that was just released on Sunday, and I haven't tracked it down yet. I haven't watched it, but a lot of things with the Mayim Bialik podcast, the breakthrough, I think she calls it, the breakdown. They get so wrapped up like we do. They get so caught up in the conversation that half the questions that she wanted to ask don't get asked. So they do a second interview. So that's what I can't wait to get to. But when I was re-watching, unknowingly watching an old video that I'd seen before, Suzanne Giesemann mentioned that when she first became interested in understanding this, that she was all about the logical, straightforward, military trained mind. That when she realized that it was something for her, she was doing an interview of another person whose name was Janet Nahovic. And she went to a seminar by this woman named Janet Nahovic. And she was doing was writing an article. She wasn't there to attend. She wasn't there to participate. And she ended up participating. And by the end of the night, she was convinced that she knew that not only her, but she's come to know now that all of us had the ability to connect with souls who have transitioned out of their physical body. So anyway, so I'm watching this video. I'm like, oh, interesting name, Janet Nahovic. Nahovic, I'm mispronouncing it in some way. I'm going to have to look that up. So I type in the name, and what I get immediately is an obituary that she passed away in 2022. And I thought, oh, how interesting, because my goal was I'm going to look up this Janet Nahovic and I am going to follow her and maybe take one of her classes. I'm always continuing to learn. I always want to learn more. So I look up Janet Nahovic, and it is an obituary. And I thought, okay, well, maybe she still has a book, or there are classes, evergreen classes that I could still take that she taught that she could teach me from the other side. Well, guess what's in her obituary? She was a nun. She left the convent. She was a nun for, I want to say, 5 years. She left the convent, and because she realized that she had something more than the Catholic Church was able to, like, she couldn't do this and still be a nun. And so she left the nun and became an ordained minister so that she could, and for her, it was all people. There was no animals involved. She became an ordained minister and a medium for people, and an evidentiary medium. And she's the person who got Suzanne Giesemann started on her path. So as soon as I read that, a nun, right, Donna? A nun. For anybody who's catching this, you're going to have to go back and watch some of the old videos. We've been joking. We have had like a little inside joke about the nuns because I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school. The impact that the nuns had on my young self and who I became today. We joke about the nuns. Well, what if you guys, all this time, a woman named Janet Nahovic, who was a nun, has been trying to get through. And the only way, and she's been trying. And right now she's on the other side going, geez, thank the Lord. She finally gets the sign that I've been trying to get through to her all the time, talking about the nuns, because what is the logic of us like talking about nuns on a channel about pet loss? It makes no sense whatsoever, but it's just a funny little inside joke. But here we go. So I suspect, and I will sit down and do a meditation requesting for Janet to come through. And curious what kind of information she has to help me develop my skills further to be able to connect with souls who cross to the other side. So Jody, hey, how are you? Right, the nuns. Z, good to see you. Everything is possible. They can be very nosy, right? Well, clearly I think that someone has been trying to get through to me, because every week we have some kind of mention about this. And then to look up that the person who got me on this journey, Suzanne Giesemann, was put on the journey by a prior nun. It just amazed me as soon as I saw that. So Has she been speaking to me for months and I just haven't been aware of it? Okay, you guys, let's see, where are we at? A permanent connection with the yeah, there's no escaping it, Collie. There's no getting away from it. I've got a permanent connection with them. So let's see, was there anything else? I want to tell you a quick story about Elvis and Harry, and then we're going to get into our questions. I will answer as many questions as I possibly can for the rest of the evening, which were some really good ones, about reincarnation, about soul contracts, and like a soul contract being, why would an animal ever choose to be born into the home of an abuser or someone who neglects them? When I get into the zone, how do I quiet my mind? Oh, that's a really good one. I have some good answers for you. For anyway, I got lots of questions, lots of good answers. First, I'll tell you about Elvis. Elvis is the pseudo name that I gave to little doggy who crossed to the other side on Sunday. As an animal chaplain, one of the things that I do is to help people. I mean, it's a kind of coaching or mentorship, but assist families as they prepare for the transition of their animal companion. And we had planned for Elvis's transition, 15 years old, and we had planned for his transition to be tomorrow. And on Sunday, he crossed. Saturday, he crossed on Saturday. And it just happened that his health condition became that much more serious. And it turned out all to be for the best. And we had everything already planned out. So we worked with what a ritual might look like. We worked with a little ceremony. We worked with how the whole family would be present. There was a little meditation and a little guided visualization that I shared with them. So that part of it was all beautiful. But here's the story I want to tell you about Elvis. When Elvis's humans were trying to decide whether or not that they should decide. So how do you make that decision? How do you know when your animal companion has reached a point in their physical life that they need assistance, that they're not just, that they're hanging on just for you, that their level of pain and discomfort has become so great that they're hiding it from you because they don't want you to be distressed? And how do you know when it's too soon or not? And one of the things that I coach people with is that it can't be too soon. It might be too late, but no matter what, you will always make the best decision possible when you sit down and don't decide with your mind, but decide with your heart. And you sit with your animal companion and you ask for insight, you ask for guidance, you seek a knowing, you seek an understanding, and you do a meditation. And part of this, we'll get into how you quiet your mind, but when you make a decision that nothing is more important than your animal companion's well-being at this moment in time, you'll get the answers that you're looking for. So my two clients, two partners, and their beautiful little dog, Elvis, decided to take a walk. And this was Thursday of last week, and it was last week. They decided to take a walk. And as they are walking along this little path by their home, a deer came out of the trees. And the deer walked with them the whole rest of the way. They had asked for a sign to indicate that it was the right time and the right decision for Elvis. And the deer stepped out of the woods, and my two clients, they said they wished they'd had some way to document, like physically document it, so that I could see that this deer was walking side by side with them. Two people, one dog, one deer, on a walk down a nature path. And they just walked together for about 10 to 15 minutes until they reached their home, and the deer went back to her home and the people went into their home. And they took that, obviously, there's no mistaking that as a sign from whatever your higher power looks like, whatever you want to call it, that they received the sign they were looking for, the confirmation that it was time to help Elvis cross to the other side. And so that, I mean, it gave me chills from head to toe when they told me that story. And then the other story, I'm just going to look for comments. Oh God, Nunya. How did we ever miss that? None, you knew your business. Okay. And there's a punctuation point on the Elvis story. Then let me tell you about Harry. Harry is an interesting one because, and this is going to tie into the one about reincarnation and soul contracts and how do we know if another animal is meant to come back into our life. Harry came into another client of mine who I worked with her and the transition of her prior puppy, and she didn't know if she was ever ready to bring another dog into the home. And then this dog, a rescue in particular, which she did not know if she had the space for, the internal space to bring in a rescue and help work through some of the issues that come with rescues. And this beautiful rescue that has come into her home, we're going to call him Harry. Oh my gosh, the things they are learning together. Harry, this person is very sensitive. I'll put that as the word, sensitive about touch. So there are some of us, like I'm a hugger. If I meet any of you guys in person, you're gonna have to tell me to back off if you don't want a big hug, because I love to give ginormous hugs. I love to just wrap you in my arms. But there are other people who are not that. I mean, whether it's through their upbringing or through experiences they've had in their life, that touch can cause anxiety. That touch can cause a stress. That we were like, okay, that's good. I mean, it's nice that you like to hug, but I'm good. I'm okay. So that kind of thing. And the doggy was the same way. And together, what they've realized is they are teaching each other how to embrace physical contact, how to embrace the beauty of touch, how to embrace the comfort of touch. And they are learning together how to sit together, how to sit in each other, how to have one sit on their lap, how to hug, how to touch, how to be gentle with each other, how to pet, how to comfort each other with physical touch. So when you think about, the reason I bring up that story is because when you think about a new animal coming into your life, think about how they might complement you. Think about how they might not necessarily be the actual reincarnation of your animal companion. So let's use my Jack. It's not Jack coming back as another yellow lab who was such an old soul and loved to just sit and be still with us. Think about an animal companion coming back to you as an expression of your prior animal companions, but who is going to bring out of you something completely different, who is going to help you grow in a whole different way. One of the questions, I think it was Pat who posted, was how do we know what an animal's lesson is for us? Be open to what the possibility might be, because it might be something completely different than you ever expected, and that they'll come back to us in ways that are meant to help us. I don't want to say become better people, because that implies that there's been something wrong before. How to expand, how to become more expansive people, and how to learn even more about ourselves. Okay, so Sherry says, yep, I'm a hugger too. Sherry, I don't know if you happen to see the post that I put up there. When I put the post up yesterday, there was a dog wearing glasses and it said, ask me anything. Every time I look at that dog, please take this as the compliment that it's meant to be. I see you. For whatever reason, I see you holding that sign. Ask me anything. Ozzy is teaching me to manage my anxiety. Oh, that's beautiful, Kali. And that's really what's happening with Harry. I almost said the right name. I almost said the not pseudo name. That's what's happening with Harry as well. Okay. Let's go to Q&A. Let's go to some of these questions and answers and talk about some of the really cool topics you guys brought up. Not a hugger, and Pockets appreciated that. Just petted and spoiled him a lot. Right? Allow your animal companions, and who knows? The next thing you know, Z, you're going to have a little doggy or a kitten. Why did a kitten come through to me? Who's going to want to crawl all over you, and it's going to teach you something completely different about, I'm just using that as an example, but be open to the possibility that the lesson that you're learning may be something completely unexpected for you. All right, Pat asked some questions. I wrote these down, so you guys, if I don't ask the question, Sharon, on the YouTube channel under posts. Where was this post? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you guys, if I ever have to make a change, if something ever comes up, as life does, that's the other reason why I love doing this channel and why I love having you guys in a real community. I don't have like, I don't have a setup. The sun shines through the cracks in my window blinds. And maybe someday that I will, but I don't have a team. I don't have moderators. It's just me. And this is real life. And I know that you guys are real life too. And everybody who watches this channel, whether it's right now or 10 years from now, we're just people. We're your average everyday people who figured out that we're still connected to our animal companions on the other side. And we're also on this journey together, trying to figure out how we access that. And what does it mean? And why did it happen? And Yeah, so we're just like real people. So when life gets crazy and something has to change, like yesterday, I posted under there's a thing called posts. It used to be called community, and now it's called posts. So I will always post there if there's ever going to be any kind of a change. And I try to almost every time. I think I can only actually think of one time that I did not send out a newsletter, and that was last week. 2 hours prior to the live stream, I will send out a newsletter that has the link to take you right to the live stream. If for some reason I don't have your email, let me know. You can put, well, you don't want to put your own email in the comments because you never know what you're going to get. Read for my pet, READ, number 4, my pet, at gmail.com. Read for my pet at gmail.com. Send me your email address. I'll get you added to the list. I don't spam anybody. I will occasionally put out a notice about maybe an upcoming class like the one that we have for tomorrow. If you're in the members group, I may send you out some member notifications, but I don't ever like do any of this like regular newsletter stuff. I don't spam you. I don't like try to sell you stuff. It's all just about staying connected in this community. Yeah, and Z, and you might not be ready yet, and you might not even know when you're ready. So it may be just when a little animal companion lets you know that they're ready. Timing is different for everybody. One of the questions that Pat asked, I think it was Pat who asked if I would ever take on an apprentice. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not opposed to the idea of training others how to do this. Would I ever accept like help? Yeah, absolutely. Like if there was ever somebody who said, I really want to do what you're doing and I would love to be able to help you, then I would willingly accept that help. As for an apprentice, I've thought about an apprenticeship before. Several years ago, I did extend something to somebody and it didn't quite work out the way that I had hoped. So for right now, I like to keep it simple. But as this channel grows and as my business grows, like this week, there was a lot of private clients. It was some heavy duty private clients. And by private clients, it's things like end of life care. So would I accept some help? Yes, I probably would. I don't know if I would call it an apprentice or not, but yeah. If anybody is interested in that, you can reach out. Okay, I'm going to let you guys talk amongst yourselves. Can our new puppy be our reincarnated pet or a combination of both? We've talked about reincarnation before. And Pat, I think that was your question too. I should have written the names down to each of these questions and I didn't do it. Reincarnation is not what we think it is. It can be. And the only reason that we think we know about reincarnation is because like no one has ever sat down with me and talked about reincarnation. No parent, no teacher, no clergy, no one has ever spoken to me about reincarnation. In my religious upbringing, reincarnation is not a thing. It is not taught. But if you were raised in the Hindu tradition, reincarnation, they talk about it since the moment that a baby is born because they try to figure out who the baby might be a reincarnation of. So that it's just based on a different religious tradition. I have come to understand that reincarnation is a reality, but not the reality that I think we are fed or that I think we are. And the only reason I know anything about it is from media. So from reading books or watching television shows or movies or I did do a little bit of research when I was in college. I went to a bunch of different churches because I was so dissatisfied with with Catholicism. I wanted to explore other things. And when I went to a Hindu church, I was taught about reincarnation and karma, and that reincarnation was a recycling of the soul until you got it right. So you started out on the bottom rung and you had to work your way up until you reached the point where you didn't have to come back anymore. I now have a completely different understanding of that. I know now that we have a relationship with our higher source, whatever you want to call that. I love the word source, the source of everything, the source of creation. You may say God, Buddha, Allah, Spirit, the divine, whatever that term is for you. For me, I'll use the word source. I often use the word God because it just is something that word is deeply ingrained in me from childhood. But I believe that we have the ability that we are all connected to that one source. And when we leave our physical body, that we then have choices to make. And I do not believe in soul contracts. Sherry, I think that was your question. We'll get to that in a moment. I don't believe, I believe that at some point there may have been that, but only because we have been evolving over time. We are not the same people. We are not the humans are not the same as we were 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago. Things have shifted and changed and evolved. And as we grow spiritually, the universe grows spiritually. And as the universe grows spiritually, the people and beings within it grow spiritually. And we all rise each other up so that no longer are we stuck in a loop of karma, but we now have choice. I feel like I have, in this lifetime, the shift that I made from the person who I was when I was 35 to the person who I am at 65 is, it's almost as if that whole karmic thing has evolved in this lifetime. I have gone back and done so much personal work on self-forgiveness, and I think that and gone back and healed things that I think healed prior versions of myself. And I can see my future self doing the same thing, doing healing in a future life that allows me to heal even more here. So can our animals be reincarnated? Yes, they can. So let's use Lucy as let's use Logan. Let's use the example of Logan. Logan, when Logan leaves the physical body, has the choice to come back as another bulldog, to come into your life as that same beautiful soul for you to recognize and see and know and love. More often than not, I believe our animal companions and our human family members who cross to the other side, it is my personal experience that they come back a little bit different. Just as you would. Would you come back as the same exact person you are right now? Like, if I had to come back, would I come back as the same Elaine and go through all the same stuff that I had to before? No, I wouldn't. I would want different things. I would want to experience different things. I would have knowledge now of things that I did and didn't like about this lifetime. So I think our animal companions do the same thing. They may say, like I have said, I want to come back as a hawk, even if it's just for a day. I want to be a raptor. And I want to experience what it's like to fly that high. So our animal companions are the same. They not only they can be our same exact animal companion, but a combination may be a good way to put it, as I do with Gypsy, that I've seen in Gypsy all of my beautiful animal companions expressed through her. But I also believe that they come back to us as unique souls looking for a unique experience, but that we will recognize. We'll know who they are, but they're going to come back here to experience all new and different things with us. They're not going to come back exactly the same. So I hope that answered your question. And if not, hell no. None, you New York business, says hell no, right? And most people do. Most people say, oh, hell no. I am not coming back to experience this all over again. We're going to have a whole different set of experiences in our little tool belt, and we're going to come back to something different. Okay, so that's the question about reincarnation. Is there such a thing as soul contracts? If so, why choose an abuser and neglect? I'm going to try to come up with the right answer for this. The way that I understand it, that's all I can share with you, is my understanding. After I do daily meditation, I ask all kinds of these. I ask these questions when I speak to the universe. I speak to our animal companions. I speak to the universe. Soul contracts is something that is it's a, not buzzword, it's popular in the spiritual community to talk about soul contracts, and to say that before you came here, right now I'm talking about people, before you came here, that you sat around a table of elders, so to speak. Again, not a concept that I have does not resonate with me at all. I cannot imagine myself sitting around a table of 12 souls who think that they're better than me, deciding what it is that I want in this lifetime. I think we have some guidelines and we have some exploration, and we know what we want to explore. Like this time I want to come in and I want to be a mountain girl. I want to go live in the mountains. I want to be able to live off the land. So I might have said those things. And then when we come here, we have free will and we make different choices and we explore different things. And sometimes we stay on the right path and sometimes we don't. And our body always seems to tell us, we always seem to know. We have not listened to our intuition. And when we're clearly getting an answer to go this way, but we go, nah, we're going to try this way. That's the kind of life that we live. So soul contracts Why would an animal choose an abuser or neglect? The same as why would an animal choose to get cancer? Why would a person choose that? Why would any person choose to be born into a family of abuse? Why would any person choose to be born into a place where I don't even like to use this example, where someone gets cancer? Is it a soul contract and you agree to it beforehand? To me, that does not resonate even a little bit. Would we say, okay, I want you to throw it all at me, throw it all at me. I want everybody in my family to get cancer. Why would we choose that? I think that we would not choose that. I think that, leaving my personal self aside, let's talk about animals. It's easier when we talk about animals this way. What if the animals that we see as being abused or neglected don't experience that at all? What if that thing that, I'm just posing this as a potential, we look out, I work with a wildlife rescue, a wildlife rehab. When I see the things that people do to wildlife, it makes me want to hurt somebody. And I've told the story before of my bear when I did live on the mountain and someone killed the bear that lived on our mountain. If I would have known who that person was, I wanted to hurt them. But was that my experience and not the bear's experience? Was that my perception of what was happening in order to help me as a soul in this existence learn something new, see something new, do something differently? And in reality, in the universal reality, that animal is not experiencing that. There's no physical pain coming to that particular animal. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing physical pain. I'm understanding that they've been abused. I'm understanding that there's been neglect, but it is my experience that is witnessing that. Is that making any sense? I'm going to look at Judy's comment. Okay, we'll come back to that in a second. So what if there's no abuse or neglect actually happening? That it's only something that we are witnessing that is helping us change the way that we are living in this human existence. Yeah, I don't know how else to explain it. It makes sense. Almost like they dissociate from it. More than just dissociate. Now, I do think that. I do think so. The thing that happened with the bear, I was living on the mountain in the Rocky Mountains. I had a beautiful bear that came to my property all the time, all the time. Somebody killed that bear, and didn't just kill it, they mutilated that bear. And I was so angry. It made me so angry that it was, I can't even express, like, I can't do what I do from a place of anger. I can't do that from a place of anger and revenge and hatred. That's really what it came down to. I can't do that. Hatred can't be in my heart and allow me to connect with animals at the same time. So I sat down and I did a meditation and I prayed for insight, and I asked for that bear to show me, and we'll talk about quiet. This will lead right into quieting the mind. I asked that bear to show me, and it was so clear that there was like the bear said, not only did nothing happen to me, but there's nothing to forgive. Like that bear being killed the way that he or she was not just for me, but it was also for the person who did the act. It was also for everybody who read the story about that bear, everybody who's ever listened to me tell that story about the bear. There's so much to come from that. And the bear instantly transitioned, by the way. That was the other message I got. The transition was instantaneous. There was no trauma. There was no fear. They're gone. It's as if the universe came in and scooped up that beautiful soul, removed it from the body before all the physical trauma happened. And then it's meant to be more about for us. So what did I see? What did I learn? How did that help me to get past feelings of revenge and hatred and those deeper, denser emotions? And having that bear now I have this beautiful painting of a bear over on my wall, how that helped me to understand that. So I don't think we have soul contracts. I do think that we are all here to help each other, in all animals, all living things. We're all here to help each other, as we're all here to help rise each other up. We're all walking each other home. What's the saying about the boat? What, as the water rises all ships at the same time. That's what I think about that. So abuse and neglect, I don't think it's what we think it is. I think that there's we see, I mean, it's animal empathy, that empath feeling when we look at those, TV commercials, when we looked at a chained up dog, when we look at those sad eyes and hear the sad music. It's for us to grow. And so that's what I think about that. I can't help feel like they still feel the pain. It's just, I think it's all still part of our learning experience. It's all still part of our learning experience. That we are witnessing pain in order to help ourselves rise above, and to help us become better stewards, and help us become better people, and to help to show us the way to rise above it. And little by little, that's going to change. It's going to shift. Think about that. Here's a perfect example. Circuses. Okay, circuses. There was a point in time when there were so many captive animals who were forced to perform in a circus, who were whipped, who were chained, who, I've told you the story, you guys, when I worked in the place where the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus, and the hippo that was in the baby's waiting pool with the chain around his ankle, and the pain it was like a knife stabbing me in the heart, the tears pouring out of my face, my desire to go over there and undo that chain and just let that beautiful animal roam free. It's gone. There are no circuses anymore. And if there are some in obscure little countries here and there, it's not going to be like it was, because we are shifting. Those beautiful animals who are all now either transitioned or they're in sanctuaries, we've shifted. Something has changed. And I think that it's also happening for all of the animals who are finding themselves in the situations of abuse and neglect, all the animals who are in rescues right now, all the animals who are still in zoos. It's changing. Something is changing. And I love the example that the circuses have shown us, that it is changing, and that we are changing as our social perception of that changes too. Almost every NDV I've heard of that during the point of the accident, they felt nothing. They disassociate from their body. Yeah, it's gone. Even people, we don't take the trauma with us. One of the things I know that in evidentiary mediumship, one of the things that they teach is to ask the manner of death. It doesn't come through. For me, almost never does the manner in which an animal has passed come through. They're like, I don't know. I was just in my body one moment and then I wasn't the next. They don't show me the manner of death, unless it is an important part of the message that is needed for their human companion. So, all right, long answers to short questions, but that was the one about soul contracts. When you started to get in the zone, I again point out whoever asked this question, I should have written the names down. When you first started to get in the zone, how did you quiet your mind? Did you use something like binaural beats, and how did you quiet the monkey mind? So the monkey mind is, I think in the Zen Buddhist tradition, or it could be in the Hindu tradition, the monkey mind is what we call that constant chain of thoughts that's always going on. The things that are usually external to us, that chirp, 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 all the things going on. You guys have it right now. All the discussion that we're having over here I should be pointing over here. My camera's flipped backwards. All the discussion that we are having over there. It's all the things that we're talking about. And often when we're in conversation with other people, we're thinking about how we're going to respond. We don't listen to the message. How do we get that chatter? How do we quiet down? So when I first started to meditate, I want to say I first consciously tried to meditate. It was like 2012. 2012, somebody said it would help for you to let go of your control freak person, my HR corporate person. It would help you to let go of that stress if you could meditate. So I would lay down, I would close my eyes and go, oh, seriously, WTF, I can't do it. Everything's going through my mind, every problem, everything from money to bills, to the gym, to my nutrition, to my kids, to my job, to my boss, it would never stop. It would never turn off. Go, 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 go all the time. Here's how I learned to do it. It takes a little bit of practice, but what I learned is the number one thing that I tell myself every single time: Nothing is more important at this minute in time, at this moment in time, than me connecting with Jack, than me connecting with Lucy, than me connecting with Logan, than me connecting with Phoebe, whoever, whatever animal I happen to be working with. Nothing. There is nothing more important. And it works. It's like it tells my brain, oh, okay, we get it. There's a priority. And your number one priority is an animal. And then the animal takes over. I ask them, beautiful pockets, please help to quiet my ego. Help to quiet the part of me that thinks that it needs to solve everything, that thinks it's responsible for everything, that thinks that the universe doesn't have a plan, that thinks that the universe doesn't know what to do, that thinks that there's no solution out there. Just help me to quiet that and know that I'm focused only on you. I'm focused only on you. And that seems to work. So how did I quiet my mind? I've tried binaural beats. Some of them are okay, some of them are not. I've tried different meditations. I've explored different meditations. I have found for me, the one that works the best is a Wayne Dyer. It's musical. It's a series of tones. It's not binaural beats, but it is it's like sound bowls, but I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. You guys clue me in here when you're listening to tones and the solfeggio frequencies. That's what I'm looking for. So I listen to a series of frequencies that help me resonate, like I can feel them in my body. For some people, binaural beats are where you hear one tone in one ear, one tone in the other, and they come together. So one ear hears one thing, one ear hears the other, and when you combine them, you get something that comes together. I'm pointing up here for a reason, because if I'm wearing a headset, I'll hear a sound, and it comes together as one unified sound. And that does help me. The solfeggio frequencies help me also. I get a feeling in my body. And when I can feel the vibration, then it helps me to quiet my mind. When I step out into nature, that's the second best one. It's probably even better than listening to any kind of music. When I step into nature and I walk with the trees, the connection I have with the earth and the plants and the air and the wind and the breath and the sun, it all comes together to quiet my mind. We're meant to be that. Think about all of the indigenous peoples in the world who never had a pair of headphones, but who were able to meditate so well and were able to have their connection. Nature is better than anything to help you connect and to help you quiet your mind. So that is how I do. And then it takes practice. So I like the sound of, I like the example of, who is the Snoopy character in Charlie Brown? Schroeder? Was that the little kid who played the toy piano? And he could play anything on his toy piano. So you can have a toy piano, but then when you get into the room with the grand piano, once you've learned to play everything on the toy piano and you walk into the room and you see a beautiful grand piano and you sit down to play, and the music that you receive, that's why we take practice. It takes a little bit of practice. And then once you recognize that, you're able to do it at all times. You're able to quiet your mind instantly and get into that zone. Let me check questions. I think I'm going to protest at a rodeo soon. Go for it. Here's what I say about protesting. It is better to be for something than against something. And I learned this from Abraham Hicks. Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, if you guys want to, if anybody who hasn't checked her out, it is much better. Protesting against something is resistance. Standing up for something in favor of something is better. So standing up for animal rights is better than protesting against abuse. It's just, I know it's a mental thing. It's a mental thing, but it's the same side of the same stick. I mean, it's different sides of the same stick. So either you're protesting and bringing yourself down to a lower vibration, or you are standing up for something and it raises your vibration. So that's my thoughts about that. Summarizing binaural beats, didn't quite get it. Okay, yep, so that's what that is. They still need supervision 100% of the time. Okay, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't want to get too distracted from all the questions. Do pets feel slighted? This is another one from Pat, I think. Do our pets feel slighted if we love one more than another? And the answer is no to that. The answer is absolutely no. There's no jealousy about that. And we've brought this question up before, but even about children, like if it, because I love a firstborn differently than I love my secondborn. Do I love them any more fiercely than another? No, it's a different sense. So I don't necessarily love one more than another. Even for animals, I love them all differently. My gypsy I love her. I mean, I love her so much. She's so cool. And she snuggles in with me. That's what we call it, snuggling in every night. She curls up under the covers. She like digs down under the covers. If anybody has experienced this with their dogs, she gets under the covers and she burrows. I don't know how, and then she burrows and she twists and she turns until she's found her little spot. And I call it snuggling in. And I'll say to her, have you snuggled in? And I just love her so much. But I will not ever love her the way that I loved Lucy. And for my Jack, I will not ever love him the way that I loved Lucy. It's all different. But do they get jealous? They do not. Now, animals who are right here with us in this physical, if we show affection to one more than the other, they are going to exhibit a jealousy just like people would. They see it, and it's part of the physical experience. Having those emotions, feeling the love, feeling different love, feeling that whole different level of emotion. Yeah, and you just got to lean into it. That's all. It's just the experience of life. It's the experience of being in a physical body and having all of our senses and all of our emotions. Don't judge yourself for it, because once we go back to the other side, it's gone. There isn't any of that. So they don't feel slighted if we love one more than another. How can we find out what our animals are meant to teach us? So when an animal comes into our life, what is it that they're meant to teach us and how do we know it? We do it best through meditation and asking. All you need to do is ask. I like to go into deep meditation. In fact, I want to go even deeper. I've seriously been considering plant medicine because I want to go even deeper than I go in my regular meditations. But what I like to do is meditate. And when I meditate, I just want to be quiet. I don't want anything coming through. No cell phones, no computers, no door knocking, nothing, nobody. When I meditate, I have my little, it's like a little chase lounge over here. I lay down there. I put my sleep mask on. I put my earbuds in, or sometimes earplugs in, and everything goes quiet. When I'm in that state, I feel connected to the energetic field that flows to, through, and around us. And I ask the questions. I ask to be connected. I ask to understand what message I'm supposed to receive. I ask what I'm supposed to learn. But guess what? You don't need to do any of that. All you have to do is ask. Why? Because we're beyond it. We're beyond the need for an intermediary. Pat, I know this for you. I know it 100% like I do anybody whose name is in green over on the side of that conversation. I know this for you 100%. All you need to do is ask. An animal comes into your life, ask. Today, oh my gosh, and the animals, they're amazing when you open your eyes and look. Today, I watched a spider kill a little bug and carry that little bug over a leaf. And I was standing this close to it. I was so close, and he's letting me watch, and I could see his little eyes, and he's letting me watch the whole thing. And I asked, "What are you here to show me?" And the answer that I got was that it's all a beautiful cycle of life, and everything is here for, like, I didn't cause any harm to that little bug that I just killed. And it was just, that's all you need to do is ask. Right now, all you need to do is ask. Any animal that comes into your experience, whether it's a squirrel, whether it's, I recently saw a deer hit on the side of the road. As an animal chaplain, I send a prayer up every time I see that. And I think to myself, what am I supposed to learn? The answer I got was so fast, faster than the speed of light. Slow down. That's the answer I got. Slow down. And then I can see the spirit of that deer just running off into the woods. So that's all you need to do is ask. That's how you know. And trust the first answer that comes into your mind. Don't second guess yourself. Don't think that you've made it up. It's not your imagination. When you ask an animal a question like that, you're going to get an immediate, honest answer because they don't know how to deceive. Oh, we're on an hour here. Let's going to post something on Elaine's page of something I ordered with Meow Meow's picture on it for what it says. I didn't think of her Facebook. Okay, I'm not. You guys can always message me with stuff if there's something else going on that you need my attention for, because I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sure what that was about. Call me crazy, but I would have felt bad for the little bug the spider killed. Right? That's where my mind went first. That's where my mind went first, was that I feel bad for the little bug that the spider killed. The message I got was that it's all a beautiful cycle of life, and that bug was fine. The bug was already gone. We are part of a universe that is so where anything and everything is possible. It's all possible. Everything can be changed. Anything can be changed. This creative source that is at the root of everything. We humans think that we're the center of it all. We think that it's all about us, that we have to understand animals, that we have to understand the bug, that we have to understand why this happens, why that happens, that why are aliens coming to our planet? Why is everybody talking about ETs? What are we going to do with the politics in the United States? What are we going to do when China starts? We think that we're so wrapped up in ourselves, we forget that there is something that is spinning bazillion Earths all over the place, and they're all spinning at the same time, and they've all got civilizations, and everything is going on. It's not just here on this 1/3 rock from the sun. It is everywhere in the universe. When a universe is so universal intelligence is far beyond anything that our little brain can consider. And that universe has the ability to change and shift anything. And we are interactive parts of that universe. I speak to God, source, all the time. Every animal, every plant, every breath of air, the water that I drink, I speak to it all the time and say thank you. And every time I do that, something shifts. Something shifts every time I do that. I don't even know why I get onto that topic. I can't watch National Geographic. I want to cry for the gazelle being attacked and eaten by the lion. I understand. I get it. I get it. You don't have to worry about that. It's all part of the glorious universe. It's all part of the glorious universe, and that animal does not suffer. What we see as suffering doesn't happen. It's our perception of what's happening there. Okay, enough about that for now. Do our pets see the future? All right, we're going to do this for just 5 more minutes, and then I've got like 1, 2, 3. I've got tons of questions more yet. I'm just going to see if there's the video of my trip. Oh, I addressed that question. Communication with new pets to orient them to our family. Will past pets communicate with new pets to orient them to our family? 100% yes. Happens all the time. Even when when you see a dog or a cat looking off into the corner, there's communication going on there all the time. All animals communicate with each other all the time. And when we bring a new animal companion into our family, we can ask for the assistance of our prior animals to help them acclimate and to help them understand who we are. Some of these can be topics for entire videos. How do we know if an animal has crossed? Oh, this was an animal communication question. I don't remember who posted this question. Interesting that somebody reached out to me as a private client for this question also. A kitty cat's been gone for a week, and how do we know if they've crossed over or if they're still alive and looking to come home? It's all done through the same thing. It's all done through that meditation. I go into a meditation and I try to get a sense from that animal companion where they are. Sometimes they don't know that they've crossed. They just realize that, oh, I'm not where I was perhaps. And I ask them to send a message to their human companion or through me. So how do we know if an animal is crossed or if they're still alive when they've gone missing? It's harder for us because we want them so much not to have crossed. We don't want them to experience pain. We want them to come back to us. So there may not, I don't have an easy answer for that question. How do we know if they've crossed or not? For me, what I would do is sit down with a picture, a photo of that beautiful animal companion, like I have for this beautiful gray kitty cat. I would look into their eyes and I would ask them to help guide me for an answer. Like right now, I get a sense that this beautiful kitty cat is not crossed. That's what I get a sense. I get a sense that they're out exploring and they're going to come back when they feel like it. But that's what I do automatic writing, and I ask for answers and I look at photos of animals and then I write those answers down. But there are some people who just like for me, it's easiest to connect with animals who've crossed to the other side. There are some people who are really good at helping people locate animals who are lost. That hasn't always been the case for me. I seem to connect better with animals who've crossed to the other side. Do pets see the future? No. Well, and do they send us predictions? They may share with us possible futures. The future is not written. You can make certain decisions that might lead you in one direction or another. There may be probabilities and possibilities that our animal companions can enlighten us, that if we go this direction, they may give us gentle nudges to help push us in a certain direction. But the future is not written. It's why I deal with oracle cards and not tarot cards, because I don't believe that we can look at a series of cards and say, oh my gosh, I made a wrong turn back there, or oh my gosh, you must do this today on a certain date, a certain time, in a certain place, or your whole life is going to fall apart. Nope. So the future is not written. And even if we make a decision that turns out where like you didn't follow your intuition, and you realize that, oh, well, that was really silly, you can change it. You can change that. You can change the direction of your trajectory by your free will and by getting back into alignment with what your intuition is telling you. Okay. Are animal souls? Oh, can animal and people souls switch? Yes, we can all the time. Like we can come back as whatever we want. There are no rules. The way that we think, that we've been shown that we have to follow there are certain rules and there are certain things that we have to do. If we want to do this, we want to do that, and people always have to come back as people. Dogs have to be as dogs. There's plenty of people out there, plenty of mediums who say, nope, cats are only cats and they'll always come back as a cat. The universe can do whatever it wants. It can do whatever it wants. We can have new animals. There can be a discovery of a new species anytime at all. We can bring back extinct animals. Because the universe can do, there are no rules. Yes, people can be animals. Animals can be people. If we want to know what it feels like to be a tree next to a babbling brook, we can do that too. Anything is possible. We can reincarnate into different planets if that's what we choose to do. Getting a little carried away there with that, but yes, there are no right or wrong. I'm one that would get lost and pockets would lead me back. Really? There you go. So if a person gets lost, will their animal lead them back? Yep. The other thing that I do, going back to that lost animal, the other thing that I do is, because when animals are away from home, when they've lost their way, they don't see things from the same perspective. So they are not, I've used this example before. A cat is not under a porch looking out going, okay, I'm in a red brick house. It's got a white picket fence. It's 123 Cherry Street. Come and get me. They don't see it that way. You have to picture yourself in their little body. What are they seeing? What are they smelling? What are they feeling? It's going to look completely different. They may see leaves. They may see lots of lights. There may be sounds that are frightening them. What I try to do is guide them home. I will tell them, you know the way home. Use your nose, use your ears. Don't worry, you're safe. You are safe. You are safe. Follow your path back home. And then I try to picture in my mind that there's this light up trail, like a trail of I don't know, a glow in the dark trail that they can follow right back to their house, that their human companion is waiting for them, and to follow that trail home. That's the other thing you can do. Okay, we are way over time now. An hour and 10 minutes we've gone on. Chain smoking grandmother was my gray cat, and I instantly called him Smokey. He listened when he appeared from nowhere. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. Yes. To all of it. It's all possible. Everything is possible. If we can let go of this box that we've been trained into, that we've socially, culturally, religiously, ecumenically, all the different ways, educatively, all the ways that we have been indoctrinated to think. Let go of it. Let your mind be free. Let your mind be free to all the possibilities. You can come back as a Porsche if that's what you want to come back as. It's all possible to us. All right. That's it for now, guys. What time on Friday are you thinking for the Zoom? I am thinking Friday. I want to do it at a time that really works best for everybody. I will do a little poll on our members, in our members group. I'll put up a little poll, but I'm thinking same time as this. I'm thinking 6 o'clock Central Time is the time that works best for me. But I can be really flexible. And if we want to do it instead on a Saturday morning, I'll put out, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put out a little poll for everybody to answer what time might be the best for them, so that everybody can make it. All right, my friends, it's been great to have you here. Thank you for coming for switching days with me. And I will see you guys again later this week. Otherwise, I was just saying if I needed to take time off from work. Oh, well, hey, you know, whatever. Who needs work? Gosh, who needs work? Thinking about buying an older Porsche. So weird you just said that. That's awesome too. Good. Where can we find the recordings if missed? I will post the recordings also. So they will go to, they'll still be on YouTube. It will be unlisted so that only people who have the link can find it. But I will post the recording also. And yeah, for the rest of you guys, Friday morning, no, it was going to be Friday in the evening, Friday like happy hour kind of thing. Wait, there was one more question that just came up there. Can't wait to start class tomorrow. Oh yeah, for all you guys who are going to be in the class tomorrow, I look forward to seeing you there too. All right, we got to go. Until next week, or until I see you later this week, may animals light your way. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for all your great questions. Thank you for supporting each other. You are so loved. Even if I've never met you and you're watching this 10 years from now, know that somebody out here loves you and wants you to come back as a Porsche. Take care, everybody. Bye. Yep, and I'll do it. I'll do the classes again. See you guys.